I still remember the sound. Not a scream. Not a gunshot. A soft click. Like someone unlocking my back door. At 2:17 a.m. While I was still awake. Lying in bed. Holding my phone. And realizing someone was inside my house. I never believed in locking the back door. The neighborhood was quiet. Too quiet. That night, I remember standing in my kitchen around 12:47 a.m. staring at the dark window above the sink. The only sound was the faint hum of my refrigerator, and my own breathing. I had just finished washing a cup when I realized something felt wrong. The air changed. It wasn't cold, it felt heavy, like the room was holding its breath. I froze. That's when I noticed it. The back door. It wasn't fully closed. Just slightly open. Enough for a thin line of darkness to cut across the kitchen floor. My heart skipped. I clearly remembered locking it earlier. I always check it before bed. Slowly, I dried my hands on my shirt and stared at the door, listening. Nothing. No footsteps. No wind. No sound at all. Then, creak, the door moved. Just a little. On its own. I felt my chest tighten as fear crawled up my spine. My mind started racing. Was it the wind? Did I imagine it? But there was no wind. I took one slow step backward. Then another. That's when I smelled it. A rotting, damp smell, like wet soil mixed with old metal, something that didn't belong inside my house. My throat went dry. I whispered, "Hello." The word barely left my mouth. From the other side of the door, I heard breathing. Not fast. Not panicked. Slow. Controlled. Deliberate. Like someone was standing there, listening to me breathe. I couldn't move. My legs felt locked. Then the door handle twitched. Once. Twice. Very gently. As if whoever was there didn't want to make noise, but wanted me to know they were waiting. I realized something terrifying in that moment. Whoever was outside already knew I was inside. And they were patient. What would you do if your back door slowly opened at midnight, and someone was breathing on the other side? Run. Hide. Or pretend you heard nothing. My heart was pounding so loud, I was sure whoever stood outside could hear it. I slowly reached for my phone on the counter. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped it. No signal. Just one weak bar, disappearing. I swallowed hard. The breathing outside the door stopped. Suddenly. Complete silence. That was worse. Silence means someone is planning something. I took one careful step toward the hallway, trying not to make a sound. The wooden floor beneath me whispered softly under my weight. Creak, I froze. Nothing happened. So I moved again. Creak, creak, each step felt like an alarm. When I reached the hallway entrance, I leaned slightly and looked down the dark corridor leading to my bedroom. And that's when I saw it. At the far end of the hallway, a shadow. But there was no light behind it. No lamp. No window. Nothing that could create a shadow. Yet it stood there, stretched across the wall. Tall. Unnaturally tall. And slowly, it moved. Not walking. Gliding. Like smoke crawling along the surface. My breath caught in my throat. I covered my mouth with my hand. Then, it stopped. Right in front of my bedroom door. My bedroom. The place where I slept. Where I was supposed to be safe. The door handle turned. Very slowly. I heard the soft click of the lock. Someone was trying to get inside. I wanted to scream. But fear stole my voice. That's when my phone vibrated. One message. From an unknown number. It read, "Don't move." I stared at the screen. My blood turned cold. How did they know where I was? Who was watching me? And how long had they been inside my house? If you got a message saying, "Don't move," while someone was in your house, would you obey it? Yes, no, or call for help? I stayed frozen, staring at the bedroom door. The handle kept twisting, slowly, deliberately, as if whoever was outside knew I was terrified. Then I heard it. A whisper. Soft. Low. Almost playful. "I know you're in there." I could feel my whole body go numb. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. My chest hurt from holding my breath. I wanted to move, to run, but every muscle refused. Then I remembered the closet. The one I could hide in if they got inside. But stepping out meant crossing the hallway. I needed a plan. The whisper came again. Louder this time. "Don't make a sound." I swallowed hard, my throat dry, and slowly inched toward my closet. Each step was a risk. Every floorboard creaked beneath me. Then, a shadow moved behind the door handle. A hand. Slowly turning. I froze. I couldn't think. My brain screamed at me to escape. But my body wouldn't cooperate. That's when it spoke again. "Nice and quiet, or I'll find you." I slid down the wall, trying to make myself as small as possible. My phone slipped from my pocket. The screen hit the floor and lit up the hallway just enough to see a dark shape, looming in front of me. I realized something horrifying. They were inside the bedroom now. If someone was inside your bedroom whispering your name, would you hide, fight, or try to escape? I knew I had only seconds. I couldn't run. The hallway was too exposed. And the bedroom door? Already open. So I did the only thing that made sense. I dove under the bed. The mattress smelled faintly of dust and old fabric. My hands scraped against the floor. My knees hit the legs of the bed frame. My entire body trembled. I pulled myself as far back as I could, barely breathing. Every sound of my own heartbeat felt deafening. And then I heard it. The soft thump of boots, moving across the floor. Closer. Closer. I could see the shadow of the intruder stretching across the floor, inching toward me. They paused. Slowly bent down. I could hear their breathing, calm, methodical, waiting for me to give myself away. A hand reached toward the bed frame. I held my breath. Frozen. Then they whispered, almost amused, "Found you." I wanted to scream. But the words got stuck in my throat. My pulse raced. I remembered the small space beneath the bed I could crawl into. Barely enough room to hide. I squeezed myself deeper into the darkness, trying to disappear completely. Seconds felt like hours. Every sound mattered. Every shift of shadow could be my last. If someone whispered, "Found you," while you were hiding under your bed, would you stay still, try to fight, or risk running? I couldn't stay under the bed any longer. My lungs burned. My hands cramped from holding onto the floor. Every second I stayed there, I risked them finding me completely. So, I made a decision. I kicked off the floorboards and bolted. Heart hammering, I ran down the hallway. My bare feet slapped against the cold wood. Every creak screamed through the house. Behind me. I heard it. Boots pounding. Breathing sharp. Laughing. I slammed into the front door. Tried the handle. Locked. Locked. My mind went blank. Panic clawed at me. I looked around frantically. Kitchen. Too many cabinets. Living room. Too exposed. But the hallway, the narrow hallway, it was the only way to survive. I turned and ran toward the stairs, but he was there. Standing, waiting. Watching me. Every instinct screamed, turn and fight, keep running, don't stop. I grabbed a lamp from the hallway table. My hand slipped on the smooth metal. He lunged. I ducked. Heart in my throat. He grunted, lost balance for a second. That was all I needed. I sprinted past him. Adrenaline blinded fear. My body moved before my mind could catch up. I had one goal now, get outside. Anywhere. Anywhere but inside that house. If someone was chasing you through your own hallway, would you fight, keep running blindly, or look for a weapon? I slammed the laundry room door behind me and immediately started looking for somewhere to hide. My hands found a small panel behind some stacked boxes. Barely enough room to squeeze through. I crawled inside. Darkness swallowed me. Cold pressed against my back. My breath came in short, shallow gasps. Then I heard him. Slow, deliberate footsteps. Right outside the door. Bang, 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 the knocking reverberated through the laundry room. Come out, he said. I just want to talk. I tried to convince myself he might just leave. Maybe this was some sick game. But the truth hit me. He knew I was in here. I held my breath, praying he wouldn't discover the panel I'd squeezed behind. Every tick of the clock echoed in my head. Minutes dragged. My heart felt like it would burst. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe loudly. Then I heard it, the faintest whisper, almost a sigh, right outside the panel, you can't hide forever. I pressed myself deeper into the darkness, sweat stinging my eyes. Every nerve in my body screamed to run, but there was no room. And I realized, this might be the closest I'd ever come to true fear. If you were trapped in a tiny hidden space and heard someone whisper, you can't hide forever, would you stay, make a move, or try to fight? The knocking stopped. Silence. Absolute silence. I held my breath, listening, my heart hammering so loudly I was sure it would give me away. Then I heard it, the faintest sound of sirens. Blue and red lights flashed through the small window of the laundry room. My body shook uncontrollably. I had no idea how long I had been hiding, but it felt like hours. I stayed in the darkness, tears streaming down my face, until I heard voices, real human voices. Ma'am. Are you in here? I crawled out from my hiding spot. Officers pulled me into the hallway. My knees buckled under me. They searched the house. Broken back door. Bloodstains. Signs of struggle. But he was gone. He had vanished into the night. Even the officers couldn't explain it. Weeks passed, but the fear didn't. Every creak in the house, every shadow on the wall, made my stomach twist in panic. And then, one night, my phone vibrated. Unknown number. A message, next time, you won't get away. I knew then, he had been watching all along. Waiting. Planning. And there would be a next time. Because while I survived this night, what awaited the next family, was far worse. The next story isn't about someone breaking in once. It's about someone who lived inside a family's home for weeks without them knowing. They didn't hear him. They didn't see him. And when they finally realized, it was already too late. It started with a sound I couldn't ignore. Not a crash. Not a thud. A faint scratching, coming from the attic. At first, I thought it was the house settling. I told myself, it's just the wind. Old houses make noises. But then, it happened again. Scratch. Scrape. Tap. Tap. It was rhythmic, like someone was walking, pacing, thinking. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step creaking under my weight. My heart beat like a drum. The attic door was closed. Locked, or so I thought. I leaned closer and heard it again, scratching, moving, whispering, and then a voice. Soft. Almost human. Hello. My stomach turned cold. I knew I wasn't supposed to answer, I held my breath. The whisper repeated. Hello. I realized someone, or something, was inside the attic. Watching. Waiting. If you heard whispering in your attic late at night, would you investigate or run out immediately? I took a deep breath and slowly turned the handle of the attic door. It was stiff, heavier than I remembered. The door creaked open. Darkness. Thick, heavy darkness that smelled of dust, mold, and something else. Something wrong. I shined my phone light inside. The beam barely reached the far corner. And then I saw it. A shadow, crouched near the far wall. It didn't move, not at first. But then I realized, it was watching me. Not like a person watching a stranger. Like a predator watching its prey. I froze. My legs felt like lead. My phone slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. The shadow moved closer, silently, gliding across the attic floorboards. I could see the shape of a man, tall, unnaturally still, wearing dark clothes. Face hidden in the shadows. Then I noticed something chilling, he had been living here. Inside my attic. 4 weeks. I swallowed hard. My mouth went dry. Every instinct screamed, run, fight, don't breathe. If you found a stranger hiding in your attic for weeks, would you confront him, hide, or call for help immediately? I froze, my eyes locked on the shadow in the attic. It didn't flinch. Didn't speak. Just watched. Then I realized something terrifying, he knew my routines. Every creak in the floor, every light I turned on, he had already anticipated it. I remembered the missing items, a wallet, some jewelry, small things I hadn't thought about. He had been inside my house for weeks. Watching. Stealing. Learning. I backed away slowly, my mind racing. But as I turned to leave, the phone light flickered, and for a split second, I saw his face. Hollow eyes. Pale skin. A grin that didn't reach his eyes. I stumbled backward, my heart hammering. He stepped closer. Silent. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. And then, he whispered. Don't make a sound. I've been watching you. I knew I had seconds to act. If someone in your attic whispered that they had been watching you for weeks, would you try to run, fight, or stay frozen? I had no choice. There was nowhere to run. The stairs were behind him. The door I had just opened was now blocked by his shadow. I spotted a small crawl space behind some stacked boxes. Barely enough to squeeze into, but it was all I had. I crawled inside, pressing myself against the wall. Dust and cobwebs covered my arms. My hands scraped against the rough wood. The attic was dark, suffocating. The smell of mold and old insulation filled my nose. I could hear him moving above me. Careful. Patient. Listening. Then I heard something worse, the creak of floorboards directly above my hiding spot. I froze. Every nerve in my body screamed. A shadow passed over the small opening I was hiding behind. He was looking for me. He wanted me to panic. He wanted me to make a mistake. My phone buzzed silently in my pocket. I ignored it. I couldn't risk it lighting up. Then I heard his voice, low and deliberate. "I know you're in there, don't try anything stupid." Minutes passed. Hours, it felt like. I realized one terrifying fact: this wasn't just an intruder. He was a predator. Calculated. Patient. Experienced. And he was waiting for me to make one wrong move. If someone was hunting you in your attic and you were trapped in a tiny space, would you stay perfectly still, try to escape quietly, or fight back? I couldn't stay hidden any longer. Every second I stayed in that cramped space, I felt his presence closing in. I knew he was tracking my every move. I waited for the right moment, then I bolted. Crawling out of the crawl space, I rushed toward the attic door. The steps creaked under my weight, but I couldn't stop. Behind me, boots hitting the wooden floor. Fast. Heavy. Close. I slammed the attic door shut and twisted the lock, but he was already at the other side, pounding. I ran down the stairs as fast as I could, my chest burning, every nerve screaming. Through the hallway, I could hear him laughing. A low, cruel sound that chilled me to the bone. I reached the living room. Tried to open the front door, locked. Of course. He had planned this. I grabbed a heavy lamp from the table. My hands slipped on the smooth metal. I could feel him coming closer. His shadow stretched across the wall, moving faster than I could comprehend. There was no other choice. I swung the lamp as hard as I could. He stumbled, just for a moment. That was all I needed. I bolted for the back door, praying it wasn't locked. My adrenaline made my legs feel unstoppable. If someone was chasing you through your own house and you had only a lamp to defend yourself, would you fight, keep running, or try to hide again? I ran into the laundry room, desperate. Boxes and cleaning supplies littered the floor, perfect cover. My chest heaved. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the lamp. Then I spotted a small storage nook behind a stack of crates. Barely big enough for me to squeeze in, but it would have to do. I pressed myself into the darkness. My back was against the wall, my face inches from cold wooden boards. The knocking began. Slow. Deliberate. Bang, 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 come out, he hissed. I know you're in there. I held my breath. Every muscle frozen. My heart felt like it could explode. Minutes dragged like hours. Every sound in the house amplified, the hum of the refrigerator, the dripping faucet, even the faint creak of the attic floor above. Then I realized the scariest part: he had been inside my home for weeks. Watching me. Learning. Studying my every move. And now, he was waiting. I pressed myself deeper into the darkness, hoping he wouldn't notice the slight space behind the crates. Seconds felt like eternity. Then, the worst sound I could imagine, a soft whisper, right outside the nook. You can't hide forever. I swallowed hard. My whole body was shaking, but I couldn't move. If someone whispered, "You can't hide forever," while you were trapped in a tiny space, would you stay perfectly still, try to escape, or fight back? The knocking stopped. Silence. I dared not breathe. Then, a faint sound. Police sirens. Blue and red lights flickered through the window. I waited. Seconds felt like hours. Every muscle tensed, ready to spring. Finally, I crawled out from my tiny hiding spot. My legs were numb. My hands scraped against the crates. Officers stormed in. They pulled me into the hallway. Their voices were urgent, but I barely heard them over the pounding of my own heart. They searched the house. Every corner. Every closet. Every shadow. No sign of him. He had vanished. Weeks later, the memory of that night still haunts me. Every noise in my house makes me freeze. Every shadow makes me jump. And then, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Message: "You didn't think I'd let you go that easily, did you?" I knew then, he hadn't left. He was still out there, watching. Because the next family wouldn't even get a warning. They didn't hear him. They didn't see him. And when they realized, it would already be too late. The next story is even worse. Not just an intruder, but a stalker in the shadows of a forest road, waiting for travelers in the dead of night. Those who encounter him rarely escape. And those who do, never feel safe again. I was driving down a forest road late at night. No streetlights. No other cars. Just me, and the trees, pressing in from both sides. I remember checking the rearview mirror, and seeing nothing. Then, a pair of headlights appeared far behind me. At first, I thought it was another car. But they didn't pass. They stayed. Following. Closer. Closer. I sped up. They sped up. Every mile I drove, my chest tightened. My palms were slick with sweat. The road twisted and turned. Every curve felt like a trap. Then, I saw something in the mirror. A figure. Standing in the middle of the road. Tall. Silent. Watching. Waiting. I slammed on the brakes, heart racing. It didn't move. The headlights behind me were still there. Too close. And I realized, this wasn't random. Someone, or something, was hunting me. If you saw a figure standing in the middle of a deserted forest road at midnight, would you stop, swerve, or keep driving? I slammed my foot on the gas, tires screeching against the rough asphalt. The figure didn't move from the road, yet somehow, it was always there, always in my path. The headlights behind me were closer now. I could feel the heat from the engine and the fear inside me, pulsing like a second heartbeat. Branches scraped against the car windows. The trees seemed to close in with every turn. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the road. And then I noticed something even worse. The figure was moving. Not running. Not walking. Just gliding, somehow keeping pace with me. I slammed the brakes. My chest burned. The tires squealed. I looked in the rearview mirror. The car behind me had stopped, but the headlights were still there, fixed, unmoving. Then, I realized the worst part. The figure was now on the side of the road, just beyond the tree line. Its face, pale. Empty eyes. Watching. Smiling. I swallowed hard. My hands trembled. My mind screamed to do something. Anything. I tried calling 911. No signal. Every instinct told me, don't stop. Don't slow down. Don't look back. I gripped the steering wheel tight, knuckles white, and pushed the car faster down the dark, twisting forest road. If you were being followed by a figure on a forest road at night, with a car right behind you, would you stop, turn off the road, or keep driving blindly? I could feel it now. Not just behind me, not just beside me, but all around me. The figure wasn't just on the road anymore. Shadows seemed to reach out from the trees, stretching toward the car. The tires skidded over gravel as I tried to maneuver through a tight bend. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure the figure could hear it. The headlights behind me flickered. Too close. I swerved to the side, narrowly missing a tree. And then, I saw it. A hand. Pale. Long fingers. emerging from the darkness on the side of the road. It grasped at the car. I jerked the wheel hard, trying to shake it off. The car fishtailed. My stomach dropped. Branches scraped the windows, leaving streaks of darkness in the reflection. And then, the figure was gone. For a second, relief. But the moment I relaxed, a loud thump hit the roof. Something had jumped onto the car. I screamed, swerving violently. The tires skidded. I knew, with chilling certainty, it wouldn't stop until it caught me. If something landed on your car roof while you were speeding through a forest road at night, would you stop, keep driving, or try to shake it off? I slammed the car into overdrive, the engine screaming in protest. The trees blurred past me like twisted shadows, clawing at the edges of the windshield. I glanced in the rearview mirror. The figure, it wasn't just following anymore. It was floating, gliding closer to the car with unnatural speed. Panic clawed at my chest. My breath came in ragged gasps. I swerved to avoid a fallen branch. The tires skidded. Gravel flew up in sparks. Then I saw movement in the tree line. More than one shadow, as if it wasn't alone. The figure's face flashed in the reflection of the side mirror. Hollow eyes. A grin that didn't reach the empty sockets. I gritted my teeth and pressed harder on the gas, heart hammering. Every instinct screamed to survive. Branches smacked the sides of the car. The air smelled of wet leaves and earth. And then I heard it, a low, guttural whisper, carried on the wind, "Why are you running? You can't escape me." I slammed the brakes to take a sharp turn, almost flipping the car. Gravel and dirt sprayed everywhere. For a brief moment, I thought I'd lost it. But the moment I relaxed, a hand slammed against the hood, leaving a streak of cold, clammy pressure. My scream tore through the night. I realized the horrifying truth: it didn't matter how fast I drove. It didn't matter where I turned. It was faster than me. Smarter than me. Waiting for the exact moment to strike. If a figure was gliding after your car through a dark forest and even touched your hood, would you keep driving blindly, try to confront it, or hide somewhere? The windows fogged instantly, as if something cold was breathing against them. I heard scratching. Slow. Deliberate. Fingernails dragging across glass. I grabbed my phone. Still no signal. Battery at 5%. The scratching moved to my door. Then a soft voice whispered, right beside my ear, even though the windows were closed, "You're not going anywhere." I squeezed my eyes shut, praying this was a nightmare. But when I opened them, it was still there. Closer. Reaching for the handle. Interactive question, end of scene 5. Drop of blood. If your car died in the middle of a forest road and something started scratching at your window, would you stay locked inside, run into the woods, or try to fight back? The scratching stopped. Suddenly. Completely. Silence flooded the forest. That scared me more than the noise. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. My ears rang. My hands trembled on the door handle. I looked up, the figure was gone. No shadow. No reflection. Nothing. Just empty road. For a second, I thought, maybe it had left. Maybe I was safe. Then I heard it. A slow breath. Right behind me. Inside the car. Cold air brushed the back of my neck. I screamed and kicked the door open, tumbling onto the road. I didn't think. I didn't look back. I ran. Straight into the forest. Branches tore at my clothes. Thorns cut my skin. Roots tripped my feet. The darkness swallowed me whole. My lungs burned. My legs felt like they would snap. But I couldn't stop. Behind me, footsteps. Not running. Not walking. Following. Always the same distance away. Calm. Patient. Certain. I ducked behind a massive tree and pressed myself against the bark, trying to silence my breathing. My chest rose and fell violently. Sweat stung my eyes. Then I saw it. Between the trees. Its outline. Watching me. It didn't rush. It didn't attack. It just stood there. Smiling. Like it knew something I didn't. Like it knew how this would end. If you ran into a dark forest to escape something, and it calmly followed you instead of chasing, would you hide, keep running, or confront it? My legs were shaking. I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. They were numb from fear and cold. I pressed my back against the tree, barely breathing. The figure stood between the trees, staring at me. Then, it took one step forward. The ground beneath it didn't make a sound. Another step. Closer. My mind screamed. My body froze. Suddenly, a light. Bright. Blinding. Headlights. A car burst through the trees onto the road. Someone was coming. Hope exploded in my chest. I ran. I stumbled out of the forest, waving my arms, screaming for help. The driver slammed the brakes. "What happened?" he shouted. I couldn't even speak. I just pointed back into the trees. But when we looked, nothing. No figure. No movement. No sound. Just silent darkness. The driver took me to the nearest town. The police searched the area. They found my car. Still locked. Still dead. But inside, on the windshield, were handprints. From the inside. Cold. Pale. Human-shaped. I never drove that road again. But sometimes, late at night. When I'm alone. My phone lights up. No number. No name. Just one message: "You ran, but I still see you." Because that forest road is still there. Still dark. Still waiting. And every year. Someone disappears on it. No car. No body. No explanation.